I got a yes here. Yes, computer. Yes, computer. Okay, good. Groovy stuff, guys. Thank you very much for letting me know. I appreciate it. Boy, lots of folks on the webinar already. It's good to see everybody loading up ahead of time. I love that kind of leadership, you guys. This is really great. We got some folks from, looks like Michael from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Thank you for being on, Michael. Yeah, I did see Rick said yes on the phone, but no picture on the computer. That is true so far. We haven't started the webinar yet, so we'll give everybody a chance to get logged in here, and we'll be sharing some pretty exciting information with you. I really appreciate the leadership, guys. For those of you who are on the webinar and can hear me loud and clear, which sounds like everybody can, that's great news. It's really nice to see folks getting on early and being ready at the right time. We sent out a few email reminders about it, but you know, it's really nice because a lot of the folks that I've been working with on a daily basis and being able to hear the leadership that's involved and the folks that are really making sure that their teams are on these kind of important update webinars, the important emails that we're sending out, we're seeing the message get replicated down through teams, and that means really a lot to me. By the way, I got a hello from the UK, so thank you, Richard Weiss. Thank you so much for saying that. If you guys do want to say hi, you know, we have everybody muted. Gets a little bit out of control if we don't do that. So if you want to say hi, feel free to shoot us a little message and say hello in the web interface here. You're welcome to say so. Oh, somebody says I'm the greatest ever. Well, that's just sweet. Thank you so much. Got some nice what's up from Florida, it looks like. Thank you guys very much. We got Kevin and Eric on here, John Simpson. These guys have been working with quite a bit. Absolutely great. Oh, another one from British Columbia. We got Texas, Pennsylvania, tropical Tucson. Beautiful. Oh, somebody's calling me a superstar. Beautiful. That's really great. We got somebody saying the land of smiles. Well, you know, I have to agree. It's all smiles over here, too. Got an aloha in here. That looks like that's from Hawaii. So it's nice to see so many folks coming on. We got somebody from Morocco. Very nice. Barky, Morocco. Very nice. Very nice to have you folks on. And this is what we're talking about. When we have a webinar like this, and, of course, we haven't started the video portion yet, so be patient with us here. We'll get rocking with that in just a moment. But when you hear folks coming on from Morocco, from the UK, oh, we got Thailand is the land of smiles. Beautiful. Okay, so we have Thailand, Canada, the UK, Morocco. We've got Washington State. We got Texas on. I'm from Colorado, by the way. Uneeqlee headquarters here in Denver, Colorado. Sunny day today. It was 97 degrees yesterday. Set a 115-year-old record went down yesterday in Colorado. So it's been warm and sunny here for sure. Yesterday, if you're a football fan, you probably saw the Denver Broncos and the Baltimore Ravens. Being a Broncos fan here myself, that was pretty. Got some folks from Kentucky. If you guys want to say hi, by the way, I know I've already said this a couple times. We've had some people just popping on the webinar. Please type us a message in the old message tool here through the webinar so we can hear where you're from. And I'm just going to kind of say my hellos. We'll get started with the webinar here in about 2 minutes. I want to give everybody a shot to really get on. We got Kentucky, Houston, Texas, Peffer. We got Arizona, Chandler, Arizona, Utah. Good stuff, guys. This is really nice to see. We got Laverne, California. Thank you very much, Craig. Appreciate that. It's nice to see North Dakota, Crystal River, Florida. So, boy, we're getting a lot of folks. So we got some Ohio, San Antonio, Texas. Isn't it great to see so many folks really dialing into this message and understanding how exciting an opportunity we've really got here? Because when you see so many people hopping on and you realize that everybody is here for the exact same reason, that they see the opportunity and what an exciting chance this is going to be to really share this with other folks, it makes it exciting for us too, because we realize that there are a lot of great folks with us, working with us from around the world and around the country, and really in all kinds of places. We got Maryland coming in. Thank you very much for saying hello as well. And, you know, when you see that kind of team.
Call recording is on.
You actually see that we're working together as one team. And that's one of the things I've really seen with this company that makes me very proud to be a part of it. And really, for the folks that have been working with me and on a daily basis as I talk to you guys on the phone, I see that teamwork just really shining through with Uneeqlee. And it's really exciting for me to see that so many people are willing to help each other out and work together. We got hello from Chicago, hello from Florida, by the way. Thank you guys very much for saying so. And I'm really proud of all the team members who have been a part of this and really hung in with us. As you guys know, this has been a whisper launch phase for us as a company. Now, the whisper launch phase for us, our goal with it was really initially just to place leaders get you guys locked into the system, knowing the engine that we were building behind this thing, and knowing that the excitement level was going to ramp up as people started to realize the kind of tools and things that we were going to give them as a company. And one of the biggest tools that a lot of folks have been very, very excited about, it's not exactly a mystery. You guys probably understand that a lot of folks are very, very excited about the text messaging platform. Now, when folks sign on with Uneeqlee, one of our big, probably most exciting products for us is the fact that we went out and purchased what they call this 5-digit short code. It's a 5-digit phone number, and that phone number essentially becomes your phone number. Now, here in a moment, I'm going to actually start my screen share. So for those of you who are not seeing anything, don't worry, we're going to get to that here. I'll go ahead and share my screen right now. It's not going to kill anything if I do, so I'll go ahead and share that with you guys right now as we're sitting here talking. But we actually purchased that phone number, 75,000. And when we did that, that wasn't a phone number for us. That was a phone number for you. Because one of the things that we saw as a hole that we wanted to be able to fill for folks that have some really great products and services and not a great way to reach the people that are already part of their audience, the people that they already want to share these things with. One of the things that a lot of folks were having trouble with was the fact that they weren't able to generate new business or actually stay in touch with those folks who were already a part of their business. So we decided to go out and buy this 5-digit phone number. The phone number is 75,000, and be able to give you guys that phone number. Essentially, when you're able to communicate with folks that you meet on the street, it's a really easy phone number to remember, and it doesn't create this very difficult whip out your phone and type 100 different characters and save the contact and all that sort of thing. A lot of folks don't necessarily want to go through that process, but if you give them a business card, on the other hand, we all know what tends to happen with business cards. Am I right about that? They tend to end up in what we call the circular filing cabinet. In other words, people throw them away. And we were really trying to find a way, how can we get people to stay in touch with one another, learn about your message, your products, and your services. Now, for some folks, that message eventually is going to be Uneeqlee. We expect a lot of folks to have Uneeqlee be their primary focus of their business message. However, if that's not your choice, if you're already running a home-based business, if you're already working with a weight loss program, if you're already working with a place that offers a nice juice package or an energy drink or a coffee or something along those lines, and you're in the home-based business industry like we all are, and a lot of us got into this for the kind of freedom that we hope to have, well then we want you to use Uneeqlee as the product that helps you to get the message across to those folks and stay in touch with them and really help them to understand and see the kind of products and services that you're offering and be able to do so on a consistent basis in a way that you're not going to have to remember as a member with Uneeqlee. One of the nice things that what we thought about on the text messaging platform when we were building this product out is we want to give you the ability to be able to do what we call set it and forget it. Essentially what that means is you can write a list of messages that talk about the products and services that you're already excited about. And when you meet someone on the street and you don't have a business card with you, you do one very, very simple thing. You tell them, hey, text the keyword, and your keyword is your username, by the way. So I want to make that clear with you. And we've talked about that before. When you sign up with Uneeqlee, the username that you choose becomes the keyword at the phone number 75,000. You're simply going to tell people, hey, why don't you just text the word coffee to 75,000? Just text the word weight loss to 75,000. Text the word pizza to 75,000. And you'll get some product specials from me, or you'll get training updates, or you'll get some nice encouragement or discounts or specials or whatever it might happen to be to encourage others to join with you in your home-based business. You're the one that writes those messages. And we've actually given you control over that. And here in a moment, I'm going to show you what we've all been waiting for since this program went into Whisper launch about 11 days ago, which was the Monday before last. And in that Whisper launch phase, we've been doing this leaders pre-launch area where we expected folks to be a little bit patient with us while we work to get some of our primary products up, the biggest one of which is coming tonight. So this is exciting times for you as a marketer. It's exciting times for folks who have been looking at Uneeqlee and trying to figure out whether or not they wanted to jump in. This is the answer for you. So when you go in and you want to share that information with someone and you give them your little keyword at our 75,000 phone number, which is essentially now your phone number, you're the one that creates the messages that come along with that. You're going to be able to create a nice little welcome message that tells them, hey, welcome to the team. Thank you for subscribing for updates. And if you're a local pizza joint or coffee shop, or if you're a local mechanic shop or a local spa or hotel or whatever it might happen to be, that message can include content that you create that encourages people to purchase with you or come back and revisit your place of business. If you're a home-based business owner, it can be a message that tells them, get 20% off your first order with us, or join my team this month and get a special $50 gift or whatever it might be that you happen to choose as your message. And that's why the name of the company is Uneeqlee, because everything that we do is based and centered around you and your product, your focus, whatever it might happen to be. That's why our slogan is to stand out and get noticed and be uniquely you. That's why we really have built this program around that particular phrase and slogan, to be able to help you to stand out with folks and have them enroll with you as a leader. Now, I'm going to show you the product as it is right now, and I'm going to tell you right now, before I even show you the SMS campaign tools that you'll now see live in your back office. So when you first log into Uneeqlee, these links were down for about 4 days, and we just made them active again today about 1 hour ago. When you log into your Uneeqlee back office, you're now going to see 2 new links here called SMS campaigns and SMS broadcast. The difference between those two is very simple. Campaigns are going to be a list of messages that you want to create, and you might think of a campaign as almost like a contact list bucket as well. One thing that's nice that we've done with this system that's a lot more advanced than what we said we were going to give you during our launch phase is that we've given you the ability to actually create multiple SMS campaigns and select which one you want to be active when folks are subscribing to your services. So when they first send the keyword Bobby into 75,000, you might have one campaign set up where you're working with one particular home-based business. But maybe down the road, you're no longer working with that business. Maybe something went wrong, or the company went out of business, or you're not happy with the products anymore. Whatever it might happen to be, whatever your reasoning is on it, you can go in and create an entirely new campaign, move all your contacts over from the other campaign into that new one, and be able to continue giving them a strong message and letting those people know what you're up to at this point in time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys that before we even take a look at what we built here, a lot of you folks are going to come in here and you're going to say, whoa, this is very, very powerful. And in some ways, currently at this exact moment, it may not look real easy to use. So I just want to set your expectations there and let you know that when you first get in there, you might be a little bit overwhelmed. That's what this webinar here is about tonight. We're going to make you feel right at home, very comfortable, so that by the time we're said and done here, you'll be able to easily create your campaigns, and you'll be able to easily have folks text in your keyword to our 75,000 short code, and you're easily going to be able to follow up with them and really start generating new business using this program that starts out at only $19.95 a month with a ridiculously strong pay plan behind it. That is awesome. I'm also going to make you aware of a couple other things before I start our little tour here. Here's a couple of things you need to know. When you buy one of these 5-digit phone numbers, as we have as a company, you actually have to go through what they call a carrier approval process. In other words, we bought the phone number 75,000. Now AT&T and T-Mobile and Sprint and Verizon and all these carriers out there basically have to tell us that we're cool, we're okay to deliver text messages over their network. And this process is actually a pretty lengthy process. In fact, we started the process a little over 4.5 months ago. And what's interesting is every carrier is a little bit different. Some of them will approve you almost immediately, and others have a pretty stringent set of rules that they want to see that you're adhering to before they'll approve you. Other carriers are just simply slow about approving you. So we've been approved to deliver messages from the 75,000 phone number to every single carrier in the U.S. with the exception of 2. And I want to make this clear because when you're giving a sales pitch to someone, and if they send your keyword into our short code and they don't get a response back, you might think, oh, crap, my sales presentation isn't going very well. Well, there's a reason for that in some cases. There are 2 carriers currently that have not approved us quite yet. And when they are going to approve us, they're notorious for taking a very, very long time to do so. Carrier number 1 is a company called US Cellular. That's what they call a tier 2 carrier. In other words, they actually lease space from some of the bigger carriers like AT&T and T-Mobile and those kind of companies. And they have not approved us yet. And then the big one is actually Sprint. So Sprint has not approved us yet to deliver text messages on their network, but we expect that to come through probably within the next couple of weeks. So if you're out there and you're wanting to demo the product and you have somebody send in the text message to our 75,000 short code and they don't get a response back immediately, you might want to check and see if they're on either US Cellular or on Sprint, because that may be the case. And in those cases, you might think, oh, my sales job just fell apart. Well, if you just let them know that the approval for those carriers is coming very soon, they'll be understanding, and hopefully a lot of folks will be able to at least see the value of the product and understand that that piece of it is coming in just a little bit here. A couple other things I want to tell you about before we start our little tour here. We actually, when folks opt in for text messages with you, when they send your username to our 75,000 short code, they're actually going to get a response back, but it's not going to happen for between 30 seconds to, in some cases, it can take up to 5 minutes. And that's just a temporary setting that we've actually done on our side, our server side, because as you may have noticed in a lot of the stuff that we roll out here with Uneeqlee, we'll actually give our servers a chance to sort of catch up. So in a lot of cases, we know that there's going to be a flood of text messages coming in, for instance. So what we've done on our side is we've made sure that we set our jobs, our time jobs to run at certain intervals so that we don't get overloaded and we don't have our servers go down. Because one of the things that I'm sure a lot of you have experienced when you're in a network marketing program is you see their website go down. You see their services go down. And that happens during the first few months. You haven't seen that with Uneeqlee. If you may have noticed during our Whisper launch phase here that started 11 days ago, our website's been up the entire time. Sign-up process has been live the entire time. Ever since the day we said we were going to be available in there, the service has been rock solid. And on our side, we've had to do some things in the background to limit some things to make sure that service has always been there. That's going to be the case also with this text messaging service, and that'll be for about the first week or so. So when you send in the keyword to 75,000 someone else, don't expect an immediate response back right now this second. It may take a few seconds or a few minutes to actually get the response back, and that's on purpose right now. That's going to go away very, very soon. But you need to be aware of it, and that's why we're telling you. Again, at the moment, this is only for U.S. cell phones. That's going to be changing again down the road. We're looking for leaders. And as you see on our webinar tonight, we've got folks from Thailand, Canada, the U.K., we had Morocco on the line. I can't remember all the countries already that we went through, but when you really look at that list, what we're looking for as a company is who are going to show themselves as our leaders. So when we have a country that comes through and brings in 1,000 members in that country, then what we're going to do is we're going to go into that country and we're going to provide a higher level of service. In some cases, we'll be able to provide a short code in your country. In other cases, we won't be able to do so either because they don't provide short codes there, or in some countries, there's some weird laws around short codes. In other cases, the text message delivery price from short code might be a little too high. But our goal as a company is to be able to provide those services in the local area to the best of our ability. So we're watching those. We have our finger on the pulse. So if you're looking at this and saying, oh man, I wish they had this in the Philippines, well, we absolutely want it for you too. And if you help us get there, we're going to help you too. So we're going to have our finger on the pulse there as we move forward. So at the moment, if you're using this service, it's going to be for U.S. U.S.-based cell phones only, but that will change down the road. One last thing to mention, we have talked a little bit in the past on our webinars about the ability to be able to send out what we call these recurring texts. In other words, if you're a bar or restaurant that has a slow day on Tuesday afternoons and you want to be able to generate new business for folks that come in specifically on Tuesday afternoons, at this exact moment, you can't schedule a text to go out every Tuesday, for instance, at 2 o'clock. But that's going to be coming along here very, very soon. And there's actually quite a few features that are in place that we didn't expect to have, and I think you're going to be excited about the stuff that we're about to show you. So without further ado now, I'm going to go ahead and get into the tour a little bit and show you guys how this process works. I also want to remind you that what you see right now is not the way things are going to be in the next 3 to 4 weeks, because right now you're seeing a very, very powerful engine, and you're seeing a race car without a paint job is what it boils down to. So remember that this process is going to get a lot easier as we move forward, but these tools are very, very powerful. And when you really look at this and you start to see as we go through the tour, think about the effect it's going to have on the end user when they get a text message from you. And then think about the fact that we've given you tools that are so incredibly powerful, that we've built these campaigns around them, the ability to do manual SMS broadcasts, and that we've given you a lot more than we even talked about during our Whispers pre-launch. And then understand that we're going to make these tools even easier to use, and they're going to be a lot more eye-appealing. So I just want to make that clear. So let's go ahead and take a look at our SMS campaign. So when you first log into your back office, it'll be about halfway down. You'll see the SMS campaigns link here. I just clicked it. And you're actually going to see sort of an overview of what's going on with your account here. One of the first things you're going to see is that across all campaigns, you're going to have this little set of bars. It's going to tell you what's been happening with, and this is all phone-related bars. So each of these bars that are listed here right now, the only thing you see is SMSs sent. This might give you guys a little bit of a hint of some of the tools and services that might be available down the road without me getting too far into that. But I will say this, you're going to see a control panel at your fingertips that very quickly tells you how many messages have I used this month, this day, etc. So in this particular case, on this day, September 6th, in this particular case, we use this account for a little bit of testing, and you're going to see that there were 3 text messages sent out on this particular day. That helps you get your finger on the pulse. If you're at the 1995 level, as you already know, you're getting 100 text messages out per month. And if you're at the 59.95 level, you're at 1,000 text messages per month. At the 199.95 level, 4,000 text messages per month. So this will help you keep your finger on the pulse and understand how many text messages you're using on a particular day. You can see where your hot spots are from here. So if you know that there's a lot of people subscribing every Tuesday, you might think, what are we doing differently on Tuesdays? And then you can take a look at how your campaigns are running, what's working for you, what isn't. And this little tool here is actually a very solid tool to be able to have a quick overview and a glance of what's going on with your text messaging platform. One of the first things you're going to see when you log in is this phone campaign list, and you're going to see a status on that list set to active. You're going to see the label for the list set to default. It's going to tell you, again, briefly how many SMSs you've sent from that campaign. And this little thing here that says DNC, and then if you drift over it, it says number of DNC discovered. DNC stands for the do not call list. One of the really cool things that we do for you as a company is we actually scrub our lists against the do not call list. Now, obviously, people can still opt in for text messaging from you, and they're still going to receive messages from you through this program, through this tool. However, down the road, we're actually building a web interface where people can opt in for text message updates from you. And one of the things that some folks out there will do, some of the devious people out there, obviously, is they'll go in and put in a fake cell phone number, and they'll just type any kind of number they want. So now let's just imagine that person happens to be on the do not call list and gets a text message from us. Well, it can turn into a pretty sticky situation for you as a marketer. So we've actually done that work for you so that you don't end up in hot water, because we go and scrub those phone numbers against the do not call list. And if there's a problem there, it'll show up here. And if that person really genuinely opted in and they want to be opted in at that point in time, you can manually fix that for them and add them to the list. That's a pretty cool little thing that we do for you that you might not think about as an owner of a company, whether it's a home-based business or a pizza shop or whatever it might happen to be. You don't really think about those things a lot, and that's one of the things that we do for you. At this point in time, if you wanted to add a new campaign, you could do that with this button here towards the top. However, we're not going to do that at this point in time. Most folks, and 99% of you, I really encourage you just to work with your active default campaign that comes here, and you're able to edit it at this point in time. To do that, you see this little menu-looking icon right over here. You're going to drift over that and click it. When you do, you're going to see a list of things that you can do. You can reset your stats to 0. So if you want to reset the counter on how many text messages you've sent out, you can do that. You can recalculate your stats for the month. You can delete the campaign, but I really encourage you not to do that. Specifically with the default campaign, not a good idea to do that. And we'll explain why in a little bit. But I'll tell you this, what you really want to work with on this particular menu is the edit button. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We're going to click that. It's going to bring up a nice little menu here that's going to show you a few different things up at the top. And these are some things you'll want to pay attention to. You've got your details, which is number 1. This is where you set your campaign to active or inactive. Now, by setting a campaign as active, you're essentially saying, I want people that opt in for text messages from me to receive the messages that are a part of this campaign. So by default, again, your default SMS campaign is going to be set to active automatically. You can change the label in here. It says default by default, but of course you can type in whatever you want. You can call it My Campaign. And then there you go. Now it's called My Campaign. You can give it a description. And this is all for your use. So these are the things that you'll see in your back office to know what that campaign is, what it's about, whether you have, let's say, a 1-month push where you're trying to get promoted to a new rank within one of the network marketing companies out there, and you need to enroll 20 more people this month, so you can call it your 20-person campaign or your month of September campaign or whatever it might happen to be. That's up to you. This is all for your eyes only. The next thing that comes up here is it says upon finishing, either stop or restart. Now, what does that mean? Essentially what it means is you can have somebody subscribe to your text message lists, and you can have a set of 4 messages that they get, and when it gets to message number 4, they don't get any more from you. What's great about that is you might not have a recurring thing that happens every single month, like training calls or opportunity calls that you necessarily want to send out all the time. We give you that option. However, if you do choose to restart the campaign, it loops back to message number 1 in the list, and I'll show you how those messages are ordered out. And then starts going through and sending those folks reminders about some of the things that they've already gotten from you in the past, which in many cases actually might be a very positive thing. You might think that sounds kind of annoying up front, but actually, if you're that pizza shop that wants to do 20% off on the third Wednesday of every month, that's a great way to do it using that tool there. This little thing here, we're going to leave this defaulted to yes, just to explain what that is. When it says enable auto import, runs once a day, what it simply does is it goes to your contact manager and looks at anybody who's opted in for text messages and imports them into this campaign. So essentially the campaign becomes a bucket where your contacts land and you can work with them at this point in time. At this point in time specifically, you're not going to be able to create a manual message and select specific people to receive a message. That's coming very soon. So this is a better way for you to be able to handle those folks and make sure that they're getting the messages that you want them to have. You'll notice this little box is checked by default. We recommend you just leave that checked by default, and I'll explain what that is down the road here. But basically, essentially, anybody that opts in for text messages gets put into your SMS contact list, and that's what we've by default called the list. You can also import other lists down the road once we have the import tool live and available on our site. You'll be able to import lists of folks that have opted in from other sources. Perhaps you were using a different short code in the past, or perhaps you were using your own cell phone to send messages to people. You'll be able to import those lists, and you'll see different selections here of different lists at that point in time, and you'll be able to select those. However, for now, by default, just leave that checked. That's a good way to go. And then again, we have your stats here listed of kind of the things that are going on with this particular campaign, which we've already seen an overview of that. Now, when we click on message list, right up front, I'm going to click the add button, and you guys are going to see a little error pop up. It's going to say that I'm not allowed to add messages until this campaign is set to inactive. Please inactivate. It says please inactivate to be able to add a message. In other words, please deactivate it to be able to add a message. We can't English it, I guess, over here. But you know what that does for you. When I'm going to go back to details, I'm going to set the campaign to inactive and save it, which you have to do in order to actually set that setting. You got to scroll down to save. Once I've done that and I go back to the message list, now I click the add button, and now it's going to let me do that. Why do we have it set up that way? Might be the question on your mind. The reason why is that we want to be able to have you know what folks have received what messages and where they are in a campaign. And if you're allowed to add a message to an active campaign, we're not able to track those things properly. So that's why we have it set up that way, that you have to deactivate the campaign first, then you can add the message to it, then you reactivate the campaign, go back to your details after you've added it, and reactivate it at that point in time. I'm going to leave this inactive so I can show you the process of adding a new message. For the moment, actually, I'll show you that in a moment. I'm going to show you the one message that's already in here. As you can see, everybody that is a part of Uneeqlee is going to have one message by default. It's called example in your back office. So when you click on, after you click on your SMS campaigns, these buttons at the top, you're on the message list button, and then here's your list of messages. This is essentially your welcome message. And I'm going to click the little menu next to it and choose edit. Now, actually, most people say something different. I've been messing with this one a little bit and changed the message just a tiny bit. You'll see what your default setting is for this in here. But essentially, this is the message that you're going to create to people who opt in. And the reason why, and some of the things that will give you some information on this, you see how it says only once right here and it's set to yes? That's how you know it's the welcome message. Essentially, that tells you when somebody opts in with me and they send my keyword to 75,000, the first message, and the reason we know it's the first message is because of the order number. So in other words, we actually have, you'll see each of these orders as we add another message get staggered by numbers of 10. And that's so that basically your order number 0 is your very first message. Number 1 would be your second, number 2 would be your third. But by staggering them by numbers of 10 at a time, it gives you an opportunity, if you forgot to add a message in between a couple of them, to add something at number 12 or 13 or 14 or whatever. And so it just gives you some flexibility to be able to add new messages. However, the welcome message, always set to 0 and always set to only once, because you don't want to necessarily say, welcome to my list 5 times a month. That's a silly thing to do. This is the delay that there is in the message. This is how many hours after they send in their initial message to you that they're going to get a response back from our 75,000 servers. So that delay is by default set to 0. Probably want to leave it there so that they get an immediate response. And again, as we said, there will be about a 30-second to 5-minute delay at this point in time when people start texting you. However, that's what that number is for. Now, we are working on this little feature, and this is going to be a little bit stronger here in just a little bit. We're leaving this little drop-down up there. However, very soon you're going to be able to build text message templates that you can import. So if you have a lot of similar businesses that have similar wording for motivation and drawing people to action and pushing people towards a certain product or service or a website or whatever it might happen to be, you'll be able to build that template. And then on this list, you're going to see those templates listed here as you go. Right now, this drop down is here, but it doesn't do a whole lot for you. So here's where you actually compose your message, and you can write anything you want with the exception of promoting gambling, porn, anything that's in our terms of service. So go in and read our terms of service and make sure that you're complying with what we allow as a company, because if we get reports on people, we give you one warning shot, and then if you continue to do it, we have to shut your account off. And the reason why is, of course, as a company, it's really important to us and valuable to us to hold on to the phone number 75,000, and it can actually be pulled away from us by the SEC if they get a lot of complaints about getting all these nasty messages from the phone number 75,000, for instance. And you can understand how they would just think that we as a company are sending those. So make sure you're compliant about what you're writing in these messages. The initial message, as you can see in this case, just a generic one that says, thanks for subscribing, text stop to quit, start to resume. So when I opt in for text messages from this particular end user, this particular member with Uneeqlee, basically they get to be the one that crafts this. They can say, join my program today and get a $100 gift card. All right, that's your message to write. Oops, I didn't say and properly, did I? There we go. All right, so then you'll want to put in, we can take out the thanks for subscribing part, but you do want to leave this piece in here. And this is really crucial because I want to let people know that they can opt out down the road and that they can opt back in as well. So this only needs to go in your first message. Every message from there forward, you don't have to include this piece of text, but it is crucial to have it in there in your very first message so that folks know, let's say I subscribe for updates from you and I'm getting a lot of stuff that really doesn't relate to me. I don't want to necessarily get text messages from you every single day. So I would like the opportunity as an end user myself to be able to say, I don't want any more messages from this guy. So that piece is really crucial to allow folks to be able to opt out with you. One thing that's cool about that, though, even if they opt out, so in other words, they're not getting your automated text messages anymore, they'll still go in your contact manager. So you'll still have their phone number forever. With our database, you can export it to a CSV file. You can keep it on file, import it into your address books through some of your contact manager programs, or if you work with Salesforce, that kind of stuff. You're going to have that contact forever. So anytime somebody texts in with you, you'll have it. This is simply when they opt out to stop getting text messages from you. So you can see this is the example of the welcome message. Now we're going to go back to the message list and we're going to go ahead and add one. And I'm going to talk about one or two other little things that you might have noticed on here. When I add one of the first things you'll notice in the top right-hand corner is a thing that says View Tags. We initially click that. This is something that a lot of folks use with email systems. And for those of you who have used email systems before, this might look really familiar to you. This is actually going to be something you'll be able to use within your SMS texting platform as we grow and allow people to opt in through our web interface. So right now, when people opt in, they have to do it by sending a text message to 75,000. Which is awesome, that's great, but all you have at that point in time is their phone number. Isn't that correct? We don't have a way to collect their first name, their last name, their email address, what URL they came from, what country they're in, that sort of thing. What we are building as a company, and I gotta say, this is huge because this is a way more advanced platform than a lot of folks really expected when they were looking at Uneeqlee as a company. We're gonna be giving you, in our lead capture pages, which is, I'm gonna scroll down a little bit here on the page, our mobile lander wizard. So you guys have probably seen that in our product area in the back office and have clicked that before. That's a mobile lander wizard that lets you build your own home page the way you want it as a lead capture page. Very, very soon, we're adding the ability for folks to be able to opt in for messages from you from their to their cell phone, a web form. So that web form will include their email address, what domain name they came from, their first name, their last name, whatever fields you choose to add to it. You're the one that defines that. So now, when you create a text message campaign, you can send out a message that says, hey, first name, have you checked out domain? Contact me at email for more info. Now what that does is the text that you actually get as an end user, it says, hey John, have you checked out Uneeqlee.com? Contact me at john@gmail.com for more info. So these fields here change with each particular member that's a part of that contact list. That becomes a very personalized contact list for you. So now that when you're sending out this mass text from the phone number 75,000, you can really personalize it. And you can say, hey John, I'll be in your area in the next week. Let's hook up and get coffee. And you might do that because you know that everybody that's opted in is in your local area. And by doing this first name, it automatically sticks in the name of the person that opted in with you. So now you've turned this platform into a very personalized way to connect with people. So that's why that view tags thing is there, in case you're looking at it and wondering what in the world is this. Because right now, if you click it, the only thing that would actually work from that would be phone, this one right here. But it's actually there as a preview of what's coming and the powerful system that we're putting in place for our web opt-in forms. So we want to make that clear to you. Now, as I'm building a new message here, one of the first things it's going to ask me, is this a standard or an opt-in? Just choose standard for this. Opt-in would be your welcome message if you're creating a new campaign. If you're adding messages to a campaign that already has its initial opt-in welcome message, you're going to leave that to standard. So in 99% of the cases, leave that to standard. The label, again, is for your eyes only. This is for you, so you know exactly what you're typing. So you can say, Seth's super awesome message list. Okay, that's just for me. No one else sees that except me. The end user is not going to see that. You're not going to need to worry about that. That's a description for you. And here's the only once piece that we talked about before. Again, only for welcome messages, really, or if you're doing a one-time campaign. So if you're doing a message campaign that's based around a special that's going on throughout the month of September to help you get qualified at a higher rank somewhere or something along those lines, or you're doing a special at your particular restaurant or whatever it might happen to be, and it's only going to last for this month, you might set that to only once. Those are some cases where you might use that. Now, again, we already talked about this order number, but you can see how it jumped up from 0 to 10. So now, again, after I create this message, this is essentially number 2 in my list of messages. The next message after I create after this would be number 20 in my order list. And again, we give that buffer so that if you decide, oh man, you know what, I have to create another message that goes in between these two, you can set up a new one that goes to order number 11 or order number 9 or whatever, so that it kicks in before the one that was intended to be where this one is. That buffer is really essentially just a nice way for you to be able to stick a ton more messages in if you forgot to build your campaign out the right way. Here's your delay, and you'll notice in this case, we've defaulted the delay to 24 hours. The reason why is because if we set that to 0 and you have somebody opt in with you and they get the welcome message that says, hey, welcome to my list, and then 3 seconds later they get another message that says, did you know that we do all these awesome things? Well, you might have somebody that opts out immediately from your list. So my recommendation, even though this is set to 24, I would generally say maybe set this delay to 48 hours or so. I apologize, guys. I've been having a case of walking pneumonia lately, so I apologize for coughing in your ears. So this delay 48 hours or so. Give people a chance to breathe a little bit. Give them a chance to kind of, they've just met you, and then get on their minds again a couple days later. Maybe they met you on the street. They got your phone number at 75,000, and then a couple days later you can remind them about the cool conversation you had, and here's where you type your message. And again, you'll have that opportunity to possibly build a template using this drop-down, but that's going to be coming here in the next couple of weeks. So here's where you write your message that's going to go. This is basically message number 1 that they're going to get after the welcome message. You can write whatever you want with this and promote anything you'd like. And we're actually going to have a nice little URL shortener that'll point people towards your mobile website and that sort of thing. So you see how these products start to come together with Uneeqlee, because it's not just a text platform. It's not just a QR code generator. It's not just a mobile website wizard. It's not just an email system. It's not just a lead system. All these things tie in together. And you can see the power behind the product when you get to really digging in here. And it might look a little bit intimidating at first. I want to admit that to you guys. So if you're looking at this and you're a little scared, it's okay. I get it. A lot of folks might be up front. We're going to put some real pretty colors on this thing. We're going to give this race car a real nice paint job. So don't worry about it. It's going to look a lot better. It's going to be a lot easier to use down the road. However, for right now, what you got to understand is you have a very, very, very powerful engine here. And this thing is going to go 100 miles an hour in a second, in the blink of an eye. And you've got a lot of tools at your fingertips to be able to do that. We've tried to do the best we could on that for you. We mentioned earlier the view tags thing, and just to touch on that one more time, I'm going to go away from writing this message. I'm going to click on tag list. And this tag list will actually show you some various tags that you can create. So you can actually add your own tags to that list. So if you have a special field, like for instance, you have a little survey that you have people fill out that you ask them, would you be interested more in our weight loss products, our beauty products, our space-saving products, and they have a little drop-down list. That little list can go into this back office for you, and you can add those tags to the SMS text that you send out. So now you're customizing your campaign and building around folks that are interested more in your weight loss or more in your coffee product or more in travel or whatever it might happen to be. And that's all based on what you put in this tag list. That's pretty impressive when you really think about it. The contact list, I'm not going to click on this one because I'm actually logged into a member's account right now, and there are some contacts back there. But I will tell you this, your contact list will show you exactly who's opted in and where they came from, and you're going to know even the IP address they opted in from. You're going to know whether they came in from the web, from a phone. So each of these things is a very powerful tool for you to be able to stay in touch with these folks. Whether or not you're using our tools in the back office, you should be checking out your contact list and getting a hold of those folks, whether you call them on the phone or send them a text from our back office. And in a lot of cases, this can be the greatest way, one of the greatest ways to stay in touch with folks. I know a lot of folks out there are in love with contact management software, things like Salesforce and that sort of thing. That's great. A lot of the stuff that they give you, you're going to find over here, and in some cases even more powerful. So I'm very proud of that. Our team has done a really great job on that. I got to give mad props to the guys that have been programming around the clock to get this stuff done. And again, we're really surprised and impressed with the fact that we've been able to give you as many tools as we have with this text platform right up front, even more than we thought we would be able to give you at this point in time. So I'm really thrilled with the work these guys have done. So I'm going to now click on the SMS broadcast tool. This is a lot simpler tool, not a whole lot to it. The campaign tool, there was a lot there, as you saw, and there was a lot to really go through. The broadcast tool is a very simple tool. And here's what it does. Basically, essentially, you're going to have to select a campaign to send a message out to your folks. The reason why that we're doing it, setting it up this way currently, and eventually, again, you're going to be able to manually select individual people and send out text messages just to those people. For the moment, each campaign really is essentially going to be the people that you want to talk to about a particular message. So if you're sending out the campaign based around an event that you're doing in Cleveland for this month because you're flying into town and you want all your Cleveland contacts to show up there, well, then those folks are going to be tied in with a specific type of marketing message that you want to send to them. Isn't that correct? So you might have a campaign listed in here called Cleveland Trip September 2013. You'll be able to select that campaign here. That essentially takes all contacts that opted in for messaging during that point in time when you had that campaign active and makes them the recipients of this next text message that you're going to write. Once again, the label is for you. You get to type whatever you want there. The send date, when you click it, there's a couple of things we're working on with this, and this is going to improve very soon. Essentially, one of the things that you need to know that's going to improve soon is this little time piece of it. So you get to send out, pick what time the text message is going to go out. If you're having a hard time getting the exact right time, the up and down arrows on your keyboard will move those up and down after you've clicked on it once. The up and down arrows will move it up and down a little bit for you. However, one of the things you don't see here is what time zone that is, and that's going to be kind of problematic for some folks. So that's essentially a huge upgrade that's going to be coming here in the next few days. That's set to Pacific time currently. So if you're wondering what time is it set to, it's Pacific time. So that is a 3-hour difference from Eastern time. So when you're scheduling these messages out, be aware of that for right now. That's going to change shortly after the weekend is over. And you can select the date that that message is going to go out. And you can, if you leave the field empty though, as you notice on the right-hand side, it says defaults to send immediately. And again, a little spelling issue there. You're going to see a few of those on the site, by the way, guys. We appreciate your patience while we get some little word whiskers and spelling issues taken care of. But if you leave that empty, it's going to go out right this moment. And again, here's where you write your message, and it tells you how many characters you've got left. We have 140 characters to be able to send out a text message. So as I start to type, you'll notice the character count in the bottom right goes down. Once I hit the limit, it's going to say, nope, you're past it. So essentially the message would cut off wherever the limit was. So you can see there's 9 characters left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the end of your message right there. We're going to be building that tool where it actually won't let you type anymore after that point in time. But that character count really is important for you as you're building these messages, because you do have a limited amount of space that you can communicate with someone when you're writing one of these text messages, and it's important to keep that in mind. Again, the template tool and the tag tool are both there. Neither one really live at this point in time, but they are there in the back office as well. Once you click on Send Now, it'll pop up a little thing that says, you sure you want to send this right now? Give you a chance to kind of review what you're going to send. When you hit OK, it goes out. That's it. Very simple tool there to use. So when you look at what has been brought to the table here with Uneeqlee, I want to emphasize this with you guys, because I think a lot of you really understand, and I'm really proud of it, because the leadership in this company has been awesome. You guys have taken the opportunity of a whisper launch phase where we were just locking in leaders basically to give you a chance to have a spot in a company that everybody knew was going to go nuclear. And now you understand that these tools aren't just a pipe dream, they're coming to reality, and they're very, very strong tools. Once we put a paint job on them, put some lipstick on them, they're going to look a lot better too. And so we're really appreciative of the patience that you've shown with us. And now is the time, for those of you who've been sitting with your finger on the trigger waiting, now is the time to go. Because one of the biggest tools that folks were waiting for, one of the things they really wanted to see, was this platform right here. So my suggestion to you is get logged into the back office, test out the tool, build your campaigns, have a blast with it. This is a fun system. It's intended to be a blast. Share your keyword with everybody you know, and watch this thing go viral. It's going to go nuts. We're going to have a blast with it on our side of things. We know you will too. I am thrilled that you guys came on tonight. I know that it was a little bit of a lengthy webinar. Try to keep these usually to about a half an hour. We went 45 minutes tonight, but we had people on from the UK, from Thailand, from Canada, from Morocco, from all over the United States. And it's awesome to see the kind of leadership you guys are showing, putting this thing together. When you recognize the tools and the platform that we've got here, and the fact that people are going to be getting these text messages on their phone, it's not just going to be a Facebook kind of viral thing. It's not just going to be a Twitter viral thing or an email thing. We're encompassing every aspect of those things, and we're putting it in the one place that everybody has with them all the time, on their cell phones. This is going to be a massive program. So this Leaders Whisper launch that we're still in while we work on a couple of other tools and get those things live, this is your chance to lock in a team before the masses find out about this. I know you might be sitting there thinking, well, this is just, I don't know, ridiculous, etc. Maybe we're really overemphasizing things. No, we're not. This is going to go nuclear and viral. And for those who jump on now during the Leaders Whisper launch phase and are patient with us a little bit while we work on these products and services and get them perfected, you're going to see massive rewards with that. So my encouragement to you, if you're not signed up yet, get with the person who brought you to this webinar tonight. Go get signed up. Watch the power of this tool explode, and you'll hear the name Uneeqlee over and over and over the next couple of years as the thing really starts to explode and we move into that range of 500,000, 1 million members as a company. You're going to be so thrilled that you took the opportunity to be on top of that action in a zero sponsorship required matrix that costs $19.95 per month. That is a ridiculous opportunity. Now, I won't get into the comp plan or any of that stuff tonight. The concentration point tonight was to talk about the text messaging platform. But if you have questions on that stuff, and you should, because it's going to affect your paycheck in big, big ways, ask Billy Funk, who I know hosts a call every day, and he's talked about it before. Make sure you sign up at the right level. There's 3 levels, $19.95, $59.95, and $199.95 per month. And in your very first month, it's really crucial that you choose the right one. I'll let your leaders deal with you guys on that and explain that to you. But I want to thank all of you so much for being on this evening. It was a real pleasure to have you. I know that it was a little bit lengthy of a webinar, but it's really wonderful to see you guys showing great leadership. For those of you who were out in Thailand, the UK, that kind of stuff, I know the time difference. And it's awesome that you guys are on this late in night to be a part of this, because you can see there's some serious action going on with this company right now. So thank you all for being on the webinar this evening. Look forward to catching you all. Next week, you're going to get a new schedule of our webinars, and we're also going to be doing daily phone calls. So you'll want to be on those as well. On those, we would love to hear from you more. On these, we have to mute them out because it uses your computer speakers and mics, and there's a lot of feedback and stuff. We'd love to hear your voices on those calls. You're going to get that schedule coming to you in your email. A lot of big stuff happening with this company right now. It's about to be a lot bigger. So we thank you very much for being a part of this. We look forward to seeing you all next week as we do our next set of webinars and calls. And we're looking forward to seeing you all at the top of the leaderboard as Uneeqlee becomes a household name. Thank you very much, everybody, and I hope you all have a fantastic night.